Sean.
Hey.
Nice to finally get a chance to see you face to face here. What was it about Nashville SC that made it such an attractive option for you as a free agent when you recently made your move there?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for joining this call, and for the local media. Hopefully we can meet in person when COVID passes, but I'm looking forward to getting to know everyone. But Tim, back to your question, it's going to be a long answer. But, I think, first of all, I think that Nashville is a club that's gotten so many things right, not only in its MLS tenure, but also dating back to the USL days. And so as soon as free agency opened on December 15th, it was great to get to understand where this club has been. It helped me understand how they've done so well in just their first 2 years, and it gave me great confidence in what the club can achieve going forward. Now, in terms of personally why I decided to join Nashville, first of all, I look at the locker room and I have a lot of admiration for how it was constructed. I look around and I felt like it was a group that I could immediately connect with. Not only did I know several guys, including Alex and Dax, Danny Lovitz from PDL, Taylor Washington from growing up, Brian Meredith is from Jersey. I mean, I could go down the list of different guys, but you can also talk about how many guys want to be part of the MLSPA and want to be player reps. And I was the rep since 2015 in New York, and so I think that was another strong indication that I'd fit in with this group. And there's just a lot of MLS veterans, both domestic and international. That's something that I identify as, and I really appreciate their focus on MLS experience. On top of that, I think that they also value a lot of things that I bring to the game coming from New York. Extremely disciplined team defensively. They value defensive work rate. But at the same time, I really appreciate the progress that they made from year one to year two with the ball. And already in my first few sessions and working with Gary and the group, I can see that I can see how they progressed. And so, I think that's an area of my game that I can continue to improve on. And so I saw an opportunity to continue to grow as a player. I've worked with so many coaches over my career, so many great players over my career, and so many of them had taken steps to new teams, new environments, to ultimately grow. And I'm a big believer in that. I come from a family that really believes in that. And again, I just try to learn from players that have been in the league longer than me, and I think ultimately those were really important experiences for them. I also think the timing was great in my career. Being a free agent is very rare, especially in this league. It's a new mechanism, honestly, and having that freedom to choose, it just allowed me to choose a team that I feel like I could really fit in well with. The timing was great also because they're playing in the Western Conference. This is a team that's been through a lot in the first 2 years together. They've achieved a lot, and so this gives me an opportunity to experience something new that this team hasn't gone through before. And as a player, it's a unique experience to switch conferences, for at least a year. I don't know what the future holds after that, but to at least experience a new conference and play against teams that because of COVID I haven't played against as often. And so I think that's a unique challenge that, again, stepping out of my comfort zone and growing as a player, that's really important to me. And I know that I only have one career for this. And, finally, I just hope that this is a place that I can be for a long period of time. And it's a place that I could see myself being settled in eventually. But ultimately, it's up to me. And, they've given me all the resources that I need. They've helped me settle in so quickly already. But now it's time for me to prove myself. And in a lot of ways, I feel like a rookie, and it's an exciting feeling. It's a special feeling, and I just can't wait to fight for this team and for this club. I'm really thankful for how the entire process went, and I'm really just happy to be here.
Thank you, Sean. Well said. We'll go to Drake Hills, then we'll go to Ben Wright. Go ahead, Drake.
Yeah, Sean, welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
I guess eventually when you guys get back from preseason, man. But wanted to maybe ask a little bit of a lighter question. And just talk about, I know in 27 was obviously something that you wore with Red Bulls, and Anuga's got that, but you doubled up and went with 54.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind 27, and why not triple 27 or quadruple 27? I don't know.
Yeah, so it's funny when I joined Red Bull, I was given 27, and actually one of the players that was a huge inspiration for me, helped me feel so comfortable at the club, was Kosuke, and now he's the assistant coach here, and it's just funny how everything ties in together. But I inherited his number, a Japanese guy, great guy, and it was really awesome to see that now he's taken the next step and he's become an assistant coach here. And then in terms of my number, I'm not that crazy about numbers and what they mean, but I did have some thought behind it. And first of all, I wanted to be respectful to Anunga and his jersey number, and ultimately I wanted to kind of carve my own path. And so I was speaking about it with my family, and when I talked to them, my mom was born in 1956. My dad was born in 1952, and you take the average and it's 54, and it's double 27. So it's just perfect. And I'm really excited. I come from a team where high numbers are very common, and so I think I'm sure from the outside it is a little different, but for me, I'm just looking to carve my own path, and I think that it was a good way to do so.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Sean, first off, just welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
I'm also just wondering kind of what your initial impressions are of the midfield group. Obviously, guys like Annabelle aren't there at the moment, but what have initial impressions been, and how's it been with Gary so far early in preseason?
Yeah, when I think about Nashville and watching them play so many times over the last 2 years and preparing for them this year, midfield is definitely a huge strength of the team. And I think that was attractive to me, again, to play with great players. And obviously you have Dax, who is just an extremely good player, and one of the players that everyone around the league looks up to, not only his quality, but his demeanor, his mentality. And he's been so important in my development as a player. And when I look back on my time at Red Bull, I wouldn't be sitting here talking with you guys today if it wasn't for Dax and seeing how he showed up every single day and, understanding what it took to be a top player in this league. That was a really important time for me. And so Dax knows this, but I'll always be grateful for him, and I'll always look up to him. But I think the midfield is extremely strong. You could go down the line. Every guy is talented in their own ways, but over the course of these last 2 seasons, it's been really impressive to see them control games in different ways. And, ultimately, I'm just looking to add my best to the group and complement the group in any way possible. And the sessions have been challenging, demanding, and I'd expect nothing less from Gary. He on my visit, I had a great conversation with him, and he's a guy that knows what it takes to win in this league. And, I love picking his brain about his experiences at Colorado and what helped him win there, and the important qualities that he sees not only in the team but also in my position. And, it's been great to have those kind of transparent conversations with him as well. So again, just looking to add my best to the group. I want the best for the team. I want the team to win. That's paramount, and I'm just really excited to be here.
Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you, Sean. Congrats on the move. Nice
Thank
to speak
you.
with you again.
Yep.
Bit of a multi-part question.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on how difficult it was for you to leave your boyhood club, the New York Red Bulls, and in conjunction with that, how important was it to you that Nashville showed, basically from the first minutes of free agency, how much they wanted you and valued you, as well as what impact did your relationship with Dax McCarty have in this move?
Yeah, so your first question, leaving Red Bull, I mean, we ended on great terms, and that's pretty rare in this business. And at the end of the day, it is a business, and it's a sport that I love, but it's not always easy. And we had conversations about a new contract dating back to July, and it's never going to be easy. But again, for me, it's about stepping out of my comfort zone and trying something new. But it's a club that I love and respect, and they're going to be down here at IMG. And honestly, I can't wait to see the guys again. I can't wait to see the coaching staff, and we have a great relationship, and I wish them nothing but the best. I truly mean that. And I'm really excited to see how they build on that last season and what we went through together. In terms of Nashville, yeah, it was just a really special time in my career. It was the free agency again is new in this league, and I think all of us are adapting to that now, whether that's sporting directors, coaches, players. It's evolving, and I think that's only healthy for everyone. And, being an MLSPA rep for, the past 7 years, I truly appreciate the work that's gone into making free agency, a meaningful mechanism within the league. And to be able to benefit from that is definitely a rewarding feeling. And, it was challenging to think about my future the entire season last year. But ultimately, I wouldn't change a thing. I think, again, it was demanding, but it brought the best out of me. It's something that I'll remember for the rest of my career, and be able to pass on those experiences to other guys that are going through a similar situation. Even when I look at Rusnak and, other players that are going through free agency, I respect the mentality that they had to show up every single day and give their best for the team, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, playing well during the games. And, when you step on the field, all that matters is the 3 points. But going back to your question about Nashville, it really was a special time. When free agency opened on December 15th and we were finally able to, along with my agents, finally able to talk to other teams about interest, it was just a no-brainer to think about Nashville for the reasons that I outlined before. And I'll remember every aspect of it for the rest of my life, honestly. As soon as we possibly could get everything organized, Mike Jacobs, John Ingram, the owner of Nashville SC, they flew up to Teterboro. They picked up my girlfriend and I, and we flew on a private plane to Nashville. And that's just something I never would have expected in my entire career. And, I would have been happy flying to Nashville in economy, but this was definitely a special gesture from them. And, it was an emotional experience. Like, it made me feel so appreciative that they would go to these lengths to show that they valued me. And we just had a great trip. I was able to go to a Nashville Predators game, and I saw once again how Nashville supports their sports teams. We went out to dinner, we were wined and dined, and, my girlfriend and I just had a great feeling about going to Nashville and playing for Nashville. And when I reflect on that time, it all kind of makes sense for me, because Mike Jacobs has college recruiting experience, and going into free agency, I was already approaching it like my college recruiting days. And back then I went with what felt right, and I did the same thing this time. Nashville just felt like a great fit, and there was a lot of interest, but I kind of had my blinders on at that point, and Nashville had just done so much in such a short amount of time that it felt like the right move, and I was convinced of it. And so it took time to continue to explore free agency, to continue to understand the process, to make sure that I was making the right decision, or felt like I was making the right decision, and it was a big decision. But ultimately, they did everything right. I really appreciated their attention to detail, their thoughtfulness. They knew everything about me as a player, from statistics to running data to, just watching me, which I didn't even know over the course of the season. And it's things that I wouldn't have even thought of that they were already thinking about. And so I really appreciated that. And, in the end, it made a huge difference to me and gave me the right feeling.
Thank you, Sean. We'll wrap up with Drake, Tim, then Claudia. Go ahead, Drake.
Yeah, Sean, you basically just hit a home run with that answer. But I'm curious to know, like, you talked about the technical side of it. You've talked about, obviously, the career side of it, looking at your entire career and where you're at. And personally, that you were pretty appreciative of the presentation. Where are you at personally and what you want to achieve, not just as a player, but just as a human being in this new chapter? Because just like, whether it's yourself or someone that doesn't play in MLS, obviously, there are chapters, and you've finished one and you're about to begin the other. So do you have specific goals in terms of what you're wanting to do? No longer living in New Jersey, New York, moving to Tennessee, and I'm sure that's a big difference
for sure.
for you.
For sure, and I think at the end of the day, soccer is most important to me. I know that a career is only so long, and I love this game so much. I love playing, and ultimately, I just want the team to do as well as possible. I want the team to win. I want to bring something special to Nashville, a team that I recognized on the last game of the season when I was at New York and we were fighting for our playoff lives. I mean, the stadium was electric. The support was unbelievable. And again, going to a Predators game to see the support there, I think it would be really special to win something. And, Open Cup, MLS Cup has been elusive in my career up until this point. The Shields have been great, but of course I want to continue to win as much as possible, and I feel like Nashville is a great place to do that, and it's going to be challenging. There's no doubt about that, but that's a big reason why I came here. In terms of personal goals, for sure I want to immerse myself as much in Nashville culture. My girlfriend and I love the idea of getting to know the different neighborhoods of Nashville, understanding the history, understanding, where it's come from and why it's one of the hottest places in the U.S. right now. And so the same way that I approach traveling, I would love to really feel at home in Nashville. And, they have such a rich culture already that we're not going to run out of things to do. So getting the balance right of ultimately focusing on soccer, but at the same time enjoying what Nashville has to offer. I think that that's something really exciting for us. And again, a unique time in my life, a perfect time in my life to experience something new.
Go ahead, Claudio. Claudio, you good?
I'm good. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you.
When I do this about media covering the team stuff like that, I usually try to read what these guys, Tim, Drake, Ben, write about any issue related with the team and soccer, because I do learn a lot from them, even though I'm a lot older than they are. And the reason I bring that about is because reading the articles that these guys wrote about you coming into Nashville, Drake, who's a good friend of ours here, he decided to call you the maestro. The maestro coming from New York. And I say, okay, good. I like them to be my maestros too, but in your position, coming as a maestro from New York, being younger, way younger, perhaps than the midfielders in our team, what is it going to be? Is it going to be part of you being a maestro or a pupil again?
Yeah, so, I think when I think about my playing style in New York, I would like to think that I was extremely aggressive against the ball. I would win the ball, and I would get the ball to our attacking creative players. And I think that that's something that makes a lot of sense playing for Nashville as well. I love to hunt the ball. I love to run around. I love to do the dirty work. And but at the same time, I appreciate controlling the game with the ball as well. And again, spreading out the field, getting the ball to creative players like Ani and Akeloba and different players like that. And I think that that's something that's worked really well for Nashville, and something that I intend to do when I play for this team as well. So bringing my own qualities that I've developed from my first 7 seasons, and also adding to those and becoming a better player. And I couldn't think of a better way to do that than playing with already a talented midfield group. So in a lot of ways, I see a lot of improvements that I can make to my game, and I'm really excited to show those qualities now coming to a new system.
We'll wrap up today's session with Sean with Tim Sullivan. Go ahead, Tim.
Kind of piggybacking off of what Claudio just asked, you were the only field player in the league to play every minute last year. First of all, have you had a chance to talk smack to Dave, since he did not play against you guys on decision day, and that he was the only other ones alive at that point? And secondly, how do you plan to adapt to potentially a smaller role, or do you intend to try and go every single minute again this year? and maybe take some of the load off of guys like Anibal and Dax?
Yeah, so I think, well, first of all, for Dave, yeah, unfortunately missing that last game of the season, but after playing so many minutes myself, it helps me appreciate what he was able to do, despite missing 90 minutes on the last day. Huge respect to him for being able to play as much as he did, and I take a lot of pride in being able to achieve that. Not many players can say that for a number of different reasons, but especially during a COVID year, and it was challenging at times, but yeah, something I'm proud of. Now, like I've mentioned several times in this meeting, in this media session already, I'm looking to complement the midfield group. I'm looking to fight every single day to become a better player and ultimately help the team win. But I am also realistic that maybe I won't be able to play every single minute. I'll fight every day to do so, to earn my minutes, but I don't want anything handed to me. And I know, and I've seen the best players in the world move to new teams and struggle. And so for me, my mentality is to show up every single day, continue to learn, outwork people, and ultimately set myself up to help the team as much as possible and win games. So, that's my goal for the first season here. I can't wait to learn. I can't wait to experience something new, and this is a challenge that I've been really looking forward to.